Okay, so I've been reading Haunting Adeline. I'm probably like 290 pages in. I just find this book so interesting because on one hand, Zaid is a good guy, right? Throughout the book so far, he has been helping women and children getting out of these terrible trafficking rings. Like, good for him. He's a good guy and he never expects anything in return from anybody. He's always like, your life will be good. You don't owe me nothing. So on one hand, I'm rooting for him because he is acting like a good guy. He's helping these women and children from these terrible situations and it's easy to root for. But on the other hand, the way he acts with Addie, I'm just confused. And I know it's a dark romance, so it's not so much the content I'm like confused about, it's Zaid's character. How does he go from protecting all these women and children then to Adeline and stalking her and doing all these weird things to her? And it's like, what? In my mind, I feel like, not in mind, as a reader, I feel like this is done on purpose. There are two sides of Zaid. Is he a sociopath? Are we gonna figure that out? I mean, probably he did chop up somebody's like arms and give it to Adeline, but you know what I mean. On one side you're rooting for him and the other side you aren't. So maybe, what's his obsession with Adeline? It just came up, and I hate when I'm reading a book and somebody's like man's obsession with a girl is just, I saw her one day and I knew she'd be mine. That is so overtired. I need a backstory or something. Like, does Adeline remind him of a past lover, a past family member or something? Is that why he's so enthralled to her? I feel like I'm just reading this to learn more about Zaid's character because I'm just interested in how we're supposed to react to it. And again, it's a dark romance book, so everything isn't going to be peachy. Like, I know that. I've read dark romance in the past. Why is he so good to all these other women and then to Adeline he's a complete freak? I just feel like, there has to be more for that. I feel like there has to be more and that we're gonna learn more, because I feel, if it doesn't, I feel like it takes away from his whole character that he's this good guy, helps all these women, but then on the other hand, he's a psycho. And just like leaving that out of the story or not explaining it further, hopefully she will later, is just, I feel like is low-key a disservice to the character, because he's a very interesting character because he's like Heckle and Jide. So yeah, this is a big book though, so wish me luck on my continued reading. I am so close to finishing this. What my thoughts are, I thought it was getting good in the halfway point, but now I'm at the end and it's just really annoying. I don't like Zaid and Addie's relationship right now. Honestly, I'm more interested about Daya, her friend, and her connection to the Z project or whatever. I don't know. So I just don't get it, because there was a specific scene where she's like, how can you be not okay with, how can you be saving women from trafficking but then going ahead and stalking another woman? And I'm like, girl, you're right, you ate that. And then he just doesn't answer. It's the same fucking thing with authors where they're like, I've never been in love with someone like you, that's why. Give me a real answer. Give me a real coherent answer to that. I want to know why he's okay with doing that to Addie, but not okay with the trafficking woman is not okay, but it's okay with Addie. I don't know. I'm so confused. I like Sibby though. I met her. She's kind of cool. I know she has a book, but I don't know if I'll read that. And I don't want to say it's a pain to read, but also I just remember last week I was reading a cute little romance book and I'm like, I love life. And now I'm like, jeez, this is dark. I realized, I was like, God, why is he always chasing her? Why is she always getting chased? And I'm like, oh, it's called the cat and mouse duet. That makes sense. That makes sense. But if I see him chase her one more time, I'm gonna throw myself somewhere that probably isn't allowed, but enough. Like, can we come up with something else? So I just finished Haunting Adeline and I'm gonna give my thoughts about it. In the beginning of the book, I thought it was very, very slow. The middle was okay, and then towards the end, I was like, I don't like this again. But the very end, I was like, fuck, this book is good. I still don't really like Zayd's character, and I don't like the romance between Zayd and Addie, I'm sorry. I enjoy their side plots more than I do them together. I enjoy when Addie's finding out the mystery of who killed Gigi, and Zayd is helping these children from the trafficking rings. When they're together, I'm like, I don't really care. I feel like you could have just made a story about Zayd and whatever. Also, Zayd is such a fucking hypocrite. I don't, like, such a hypocrite. So I don't understand how people are like, ooh. The end was really good because I'm like, who are Rio and Mark? Or Max, I don't know. Who are Rio and Max? Who made them do the setup? Who was Jay looking at when he said you? All those things are interesting. And Addie being kidnapped is what I'm more interested in the next book, so I'm excited for that. But this book, I feel like if the ending wasn't that good, I would not be reading the second one, but I'm going to read the second one anyway, so. I just opened up Haunting Adeline and the trigger list is fucking insane. I don't want to read certain scenes, like, at all. And I was excited about this book, but now I have anxiety for it. Why do I have anxiety over a book? I have anxiety over this fucking book because of the trigger warnings. Wish me luck. So, reading Haunting Adeline. I'm on part 2 of it, and here are my thoughts on it. I have a lot of thoughts on this book. So personally, what I'm really enjoying about this book is the characters. I feel like we're seeing a lot more of Adeline. Obviously a terrible situation that she's in. It's disgusting and I hate reading about it. But we see more of her fight and her perseverance through the entire situation. We see her, you know, make some bonds with these girls in the house with her. Some enemies like Sydney. Her saving Phoebe at the culling. I don't even want to say saving, but putting Sydney out of her misery at the culling was something that I really was like thinking about for a while after I read it, because Adeline did that to her, but she did it as a mercy, so you know what I mean? Character of Sydney was so interesting to me because yes, in one hand, she's an evil person, she is, but on the other, she's also a victim in this. She's also been put in this situation where she's been forced to survive doing whatever she could. Her and Francesca, there was a certain backstory there that I wish we got more of, but I don't think we're gonna get more of now because, well, Sydney's gone. The character of Rio was very interesting to me because, yes, he's a bad guy. He's 100% a bad guy, but he's also doing good things and helping Adeline. And we learn about why he's doing this, and it's because of his sister. And it really makes you think about, like, people are doing bad things to survive. People do bad things to survive. Obviously, some of these characters are just terrible, but some of them are very nuanced, and I really enjoy reading books like that. I'm just really excited to read about Zayd and Addie getting revenge. I hope it's so satisfying. I hope it's like in Game of Thrones when Joffrey died. That's what I'm hoping for. Also, where did H.D. Carlton come up with this? Like, what was her inspiration for this? Because this is a very heavy book. And I just wonder what it was. But there were some scenes where I had to skip over because it was just so disturbing to read. The culling I hated. Just them coming out of the red room and limbs missing. Like, what the fuck? I would say if you ever wanted to read these books, you should do it when you're in a nice state of mind. Because if you're not, I feel like you'd be maybe like triggered or something. So I finished it like 2 hours later. Definitely like part 1 better than part 2. I didn't really... I'm gonna be so honest. I still don't like Addie or Zayd romantically. I don't like them. I did not care for their romance whatsoever. I actually hated their fucking romance. Hated them together. I hated them together. But I liked their separate personas and personalities. I liked Addie finally getting revenge. I thought Haunting was okay. It was not my favorite. I like the character of Adeline and how she like evolved through the 2 books. Zayd, I still don't really give a fuck, so there's that. Sometimes I read books and I like really like them and I finish them and I'm like, oh, I want to find another book just like this. This is one of those books where I'm like, no, I don't actually at all. Like I'm fine with not reading another book by this author, reading anything of these topics again. It was just an experience because I bought the books and I wanted to read them. I didn't want them to be a waste of money. But she would make like a nice little novella or something about the woman who are at the like farmhouse. I thought that'd be really cute to see. Cause I would be really interested in that of like, I think I'd be more interested in seeing how the survivors come back from it. We saw a lot of it with Addie, but there's a specific house designed for survivors to go to. So I'd really want to see how they work through that. Anyways, my overall rating of the books, I think I gave it 3 stars for both of them. I cannot put Hunting Adeline down in the first half, but then when the second half happened, I was just like, this is just unnecessary kind of stuff. I just did not care. Because the second part was Zayd and Addie, and I did not care for them at all. I'm sorry, I didn't. I do think I'm gonna go back to reading contemporary romances like soon, because I don't think dark romances are my thing anymore. I don't think I'm gonna read any more books by that author, so bye.